The Kitmen! Right, lads, what's the crack? A bit of a Premier League preview show for myself, also Kevin, and
Kevin also.
what's the crack, lads? We're just going to do a bit of a preview show to start getting these videos rolling and see
Yeah,
how we get along. And
we should have been doing them weeks ago, but
should have been doing
unfortunately,
it then, yeah.
I got COVID, so
He did,
we're,
he did.
we're still recovering
The
from that.
smell
But
of
we'll leave that
COVID
stop
off him.
us.
Smell of COVID off him. I was talking to him the other day. It's like sulphur. Um, right, so what have we got up first? What do you think?
Uh, so will we just go through the fixtures and
Uh, yeah,
we'll see who we think might get the points over the weekend.
I think so.
So do you have the fixtures in front
I
of you
have,
there?
yeah. I have them there now, so you can stick up the
Okay.
old bang. Okay,
So
technology.
will we start with the early kickoff in the morning?
Can do, yeah.
So Liverpool and Watford. Now, obviously, I'm going to go and say Liverpool are going to get the 3 points for this.
Yeah.
We're the only, I shouldn't be saying we, but they are the only unbeaten team in the Premier League
Say
this
we.
season.
We're Liverpool fans. But
We are indeed.
we're non-biased when it comes to doing this kind of stuff, right? That's
Yes,
just to let you know.
exactly. Yeah, I think we're doing pretty well this season. We should beat Watford. The only thing that has me worried, and this is more kind of from a superstitious point of view, was seeing Claudio Ranieri back in the Premier League. I seen him being interviewed the other day, and I'm so superstitious I wouldn't even watch the interview. I turned it off the second he started talking.
Yeah.
So yeah, we should get to 3 points, but that would be my only concern
Yeah.
about that particular fixture tomorrow.
Yeah, I love Ranieri. I think he's an absolute spacer. So you know, I think he's brilliant. But he's when he was at Chelsea, I didn't get a feel of him too much. But then I loved him when he was at Leicester. I think he like had a
Yeah,
freedom. He had a love for the club. When he was allowed to enjoy the football at the same time. But he's an honest manager as well. So he says it as it is. So he's saying like he
yeah,
knows what it's like to be in the Premier League. He never takes it to heart when managers change because he said it happens all the time in Italy that they change managers. Like the weather pretty much over there.
yeah.
So yeah, but yeah, for me. We're away from Watford, away to Watford. The last game that we played Watford, obviously, was in our Premier League winning season there a couple of seasons ago before they went down. They went down that season. We won the league that season. And it was a 3-0 out of the water shock in that one. But they played us off the park that day. Ismail Assar was brilliant. And eh, for me, if he's on form, you'll have a bit of trouble. But I can't see anything but a Liverpool win in this one. We need to keep up that unbeaten run. There's a lot to play
Yeah,
for. They ended that the last time. And the last time they
yeah.
beat us before that was 2015, I think, by the same result of 3-0. So,
Really? Was
yeah.
it the same score? That's
Yeah, same score.
interesting.
Yeah, so I think that's I'll leave them have it every 5 or 6 years. We'll be all right with that, So no, I can't see anything but us taking an early league in the
Yeah,
lead in the
yeah.
league, I
Well,
should say. Yeah.
I think for Liverpool as well, I think from the City match, from that particular game, I was actually shocked at how well City played in the first half or how badly we played.
Mm.
I just think Liverpool, for whatever reason, maybe it is because I'm a Liverpool fan. I think
Yeah.
for whatever reason they just cannot drop the ball early on.
No.
So you have to be beating the Watfords.
Yeah.
You can't be leaving teams like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, Kevin's gone there for a second, yeah. Oh, you're back.
It's
You're
going,
back. You're back. You're back.
yeah,
Yeah, you disappeared
it's
there
going
for a second.
it's going to be very competitive.
Yeah.
So you have to be beating your Watfords.
Yeah.
No doubt about it. So
Yeah.
hopefully they can do that.
Yeah, going back to the City game because we haven't had a chance really to talk about this season so far because we're only kind of getting going with the videos kind of around now due to obviously your COVID stuff um uh just generally we didn't even have a real space yet to be able to operate these videos and stuff because what we want to do basically with these videos we want to bring a lot of people in on board, fans of different clubs. We're basing it around how Irish fans, there's going to be a lot of sketches and a lot of things going on. There's going to be a lot of comedy and a lot of laughs on this channel, but mainly it's all going to be at its core talking non-biasedly about football if we can at the same time. But we're going to have a lot of fans in from other clubs to give their point of view, and then we tell them why they're wrong. and then yeah, so there'll be banter back and forth. It'll be a good bit of crack, but we're going to try and catch up with the season now. Going back to City, as I said before that, yeah, we didn't turn up at the start of that match in the first half. They pretty much controlled it for the majority. I think we got going maybe to the end of that half where we started kind of showing up with some of it, but City should have really taken that opportunity, and it just kind of goes to show that they're kind of struggling a small bit without a striker at the
Especially if they
moment.
had a striker. I
Yeah,
was just going to say it. If they
yeah,
did get a Harry Kane or someone like
yeah.
that, Jesus
Then they
Christ.
could have done damage to us in that first half, but like we turned up in that second half. Um,
Yeah,
you
we should
know,
have won them
we
by
should
the
have
end,
went.
I thought.
Yeah,
You know
Fabinho's.
that the 3 points were there.
Yeah,
Oh, Fabinho. Oh
yeah,
my God.
Fabinho's miss. Yeah, so like if we'd have taken the chances in that one, we definitely would have won it. Would have deserved won it because it would have been a tale of two halves, really.
Yeah,
You know,
absolutely.
so not saying that City were anywhere poor. They came out kind of the same, but we just went up like 3 or 4 gears, and kind of got back to what we do best.
I think as well in that match, and probably because Pep knows Milner as
Mm,
well. It's no secret, like he's getting
mm,
older, obviously, even though
yeah,
he's a gem of a player. But I think he really targeted that side of the pitch.
yeah,
I
absolutely.
think that Trent being there would have made a huge difference as
Yeah.
well. So I think he's supposed to be back at the weekend as well. So
Mm.
fingers crossed on that one too.
Yeah,
You know.
right. And so even getting at that point, we're going to be losing Fabinho. Maybe I don't know about Allison because he didn't play. So,
Okay.
but there's like 36 hours between that game and tomorrow morning's game. And Liverpool asked Watford could they move the game, as you said yesterday to me, wasn't it? And they said no. But
Okay.
um and which I mean, why would they move it? You were saying that why would they move it?
Well,
So
he wouldn't if I was in their
yeah,
shoes anyway. You
yeah,
know.
So yeah, exactly. So you got that, and the main talking point is going to be pretty much how Chelsea are going to manage Brentford as well this weekend. So we'll talk about that in a
Yeah.
minute. But
Yeah. Yeah.
they've been kind of the surprise package of the Premier League so far. Brentford, they did kind of what Leeds did, but they look a bit more organised. Leeds are just kind of like gun ho, and
Yeah.
and just whatever, just outscore more than you. Kind of like Liverpool were a few seasons ago before we got Van Dijk. We just need to
Yeah.
outscore the other team, and we're good to go. But yeah, but they still have no
Kevin
organisation at the
Keegan's
back.
Newcastle back in today, aren't they?
Yeah, yeah, pretty
Going
much.
home.
Yeah, pretty much. And there's been a few of them teams around, and they're exciting to watch because that's they each team each year takes on the kind of the entertainer role. If you get
Mm.
me, the outside entertainer role, not just the main teams in the top six, but some other team like that. At one point, when Liverpool weren't doing so well, we were kind of like that team, when we
Yeah.
were top six, top eight, but we were beating all the big boys and maybe losing to lesser teams or drawing with lesser teams. That was kind of a story of us. Late 90s, early 2000s, that kind of it, and even early 2010s there, in the Hodgson time, like
Don't talk about him. Don't talk about him.
but like yeah. So yeah, so we got the next game we're gonna do. What is it? What have we got there? Southampton and
Uh,
Leeds.
well, I'll go for Leeds on that one.
Yeah.
I fancy Leeds there. So I'm kind of struggling. Not that I've been watching a lot of them, though, to be honest with you.
Mm,
But yeah, I think Leeds
yeah.
all the way. You know.
Yeah. I do. I like Southampton as a team as well. When they came into the Premier League a few seasons ago with the Lalanas and what was his name, Ricky Lamberts and all of these guys, and they were playing great football, and Koeman took over and elevated them again. But yeah, ever since
Well,
then they've kind of
I
just
think they're
been floating.
or they were anyway up to this point. They're a great example of a small club being run right and
Yeah.
doing the right things.
Yeah. Exactly.
Liverpool probably wouldn't have had a team for a long time when it first so happened. To be honest with you,
Yeah.
we bought half. It would have been cheaper to buy the club, I think. You
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're not hitting the heights that they were previously. So
No.
I would fancy Leeds to get the 3 points in that one. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. Me too. I think so. Yeah.
Leeds,
Yeah. What you think the
Leeds
score
have
is going to
been
be
incredible.
if you were to
Guessing scores now.
yeah for the crack for the crack.
I'd say 2-1, 2-1 to Leeds.
Um, yeah, with losing Danny Ings as well, Southampton don't really have much firepower up front. So I'm thinking that it'll be marginal, but Leeds will take it. It could be by one goal, or they could just it could be like a 5 goal thriller, 3-2 or something like that kind of thing. But I'm still going to go maybe 1-0 Leeds in that kind of way.
Okay.
Yeah. So Norwich City and Brighton.
Norwich City and Brighton. Well, Brighton are doing quite well this season, aren't they? And
Yeah.
Norwich are bottom of the table, so
Yeah.
it's a pretty straightforward
For,
one. Like I'd imagine Brighton are going to win.
yeah.
Norwich are probably they must be favourites to go down already. Like I know
Yeah.
it's early on, but
Yeah.
there's nothing going right for them so
Mm.
far. So yeah, Brighton all the way.
Yeah, Brighton, I think as well. Yeah, Graham Potter's doing a great job there. Probably why he's been touted by Newcastle. With their income, we'll get to them in a while.
Yeah,
With their income, but yeah, I think Brighton all there for me. He's done wonders there
Brighton
with
are.
them for the last couple of seasons. He's kept them steady, and they're playing good football as well. They just haven't got that extra flair factor. Do you know, if they got an extra one or
Yeah,
two players in there, um, although with the stuff that's happening around Basuma, I don't know if he's playing or if he's not playing, but with regards to that, but I'd still fancy Brighton as being the better side to take the result
got to put a
there.
score on it.
It's Norwich at home, and Norwich have a good crowd. Um, I'm. I'd say if Pookie's up to the game, it could be a
Mm.
2-1. You know, that kind of thing. Yeah, 2-1 to Brighton.
Okay, grand job. Who's next?
We have Aston Villa and Wolves.
Hmm.
Ooh, that's a derby. That's a derby right
Yeah,
there.
there's only a point separating them in the table as
Mm.
well, so not much of a difference. Is Danny Ings fit?
I don't know. I don't know. I didn't look up at that. I made a mistake
I'm
when I
gonna
was
check
talking to
it
this
now.
while ago. That of talking, thinking Danny Ings was still at Southampton when I completely forgot he moved, because I was talking about his wonderful overhead kick, completely forgetting that it was involving Aston Villa. So don't ask me if he's feeling that.
Is
He's yeah, like, he's a great goal scorer. You know, that's why Liverpool went for him in the first place. He was really unlucky with us with the injuries
really
that he
like
had.
them.
Yeah, yeah.
Really, really like them.
He
I
was
remember
low.
he played a game there himself, and I think it was against Everton. I think maybe Ings scored and
He did score.
Sturridge may have scored as well.
Yeah.
And I remember Sturridge was giving out to him in the same game. But no, I think Ings
So
is brilliant, brilliant. If he
Ings
could just stay injury free,
Ings got
fantastic.
injured after that game with his
Was it
first
after
major.
that
Yeah,
game? Was
yeah,
it?
yeah. He lost. That's when his first knee went, and then as he came back, his second knee went. So he was
Yeah,
gone
he
for
was
the two seasons. Yeah, he was very unlucky.
so unlucky, so
Yeah,
unlucky. And he literally got injured then as well when Klopp took over, didn't he?
yeah. That's pretty much what it was. Yeah, yeah. It was the game, yeah, the Everton game. That straight after the Everton game, he scored the equaliser. Was it? Or was it 1-1 all in that one?
Okay,
That's what
okay.
I'm thinking of. Yeah. So yeah, it
Yeah,
was the 1-all. He got injured in the training, or was it the following game? I couldn't remember, but I know it was just directly after the Everton game. Anyway, Aston Villa Wolves score predictions. What do you think?
oh, I'm going for a draw, 1-1.
I think it's got 2-2 written all over it, maybe because
It's going to be
Ings and
close
Jimenez,
either way.
Jimenez is back on form now as well. So you know, I don't know what to do there. If Ings is fit, then Aston Villa. Wolves with Jimenez are a different monster altogether. With a Jimenez
Yeah,
that's scoring. For some reason, they seem to up their game. They just get the ball to him as fast as they possibly can, and he picks up really good positions to score goals. So for me, it would, I'm wavering on a draw if Ings is playing. And Aston Villa can play at their peak. They can take Wolves any day of the week, which is why
mm,
I'm going vice versa, because you just don't know what Wolves is going to turn up.
yeah,
But
yeah,
if Ings is playing and Aston Villa at their peak, it's definitely Villa. If it's Wolves playing, Jimenez is at their peak, it could be a draw. Um, because they're not at home, is my thinking.
yeah.
You know, if they were
Okay.
at home, I would say Wolves would have as even a chance as Aston Villa of winning the game. But I'm just going to say a 2-2 draw. That kind of a, it's
I'll
the
say draw
safest
as well.
bet.
I'll go with draw.
Right. Um, Leicester City and that other crowd.
Yeah, Man
Yeah, Man
United, is
United.
it?
Yeah, yeah.
Leicester
That's
at
the
home for that,
non-biased
aren't
there on
they?
me again. They're at home. Yeah,
I, 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 I've an awful feeling, right? And tomorrow might be something that's going to go somewhere to prove right. I get, I just get the feeling that Solskjaer is going to be sacked after Liverpool beat him
yeah,
next week, particularly if he doesn't get a result tomorrow.
yeah,
I
yeah,
just think it's going to happen.
yeah,
I would love for Solskjaer to stay there forever
yeah.
and keep him doing okay, but not,
Mm.
obviously winning stuff. But I don't know. I see it coming, and for some reason, I think if they don't get a result tomorrow, and if Liverpool give them a good hide next
Mm.
week, I think he's done.
Yeah,
So I think
yeah.
they're going to lose
I
tomorrow. I
think it's
think
the
Rodgers is a much better manager.
yeah,
He probably doesn't have as talented a team and everything else, but he's a much better manager. I think he's perfect.
But he's got a team that does what he wants. They've had a bad start to the season.
They have.
They haven't got going, but they started getting going in the last couple of weeks, you know. And Rodgers has always wanted to kind of pick up. He'll motivate a team right through the Christmas period, right up into January, February, when they'll probably lose a small bit of momentum again, and then up to the end of the season. That's the kind of way his teams play, with how he trains them. But yeah, I think Leicester could do him at home. But I'm thinking that United seem to be drawing a lot of games this season. They have
Ronaldo.
Yeah, but they also have Vardy, and Vardy's a more prolific goal scorer these days than what in the Premier League than what Ronaldo has been. You know, I mean, I was very surprised that Ronaldo got Player of the Month last season. I just think that's a gimmick, because I think Vardy or Salah should have gotten it. With the amount of goals that they got in the Premier League, because it is a Premier League of the Month award. It's not a Player of the Month award, because most of his goals were in the competitions. But
Ronaldo is also going to get handed.
Unbelievable player. I don't know what it is. It's unbelievable, yeah. So like you can't look past that. I find some of these kind of decisions strange, and I think like I'm not the only one. Like most of the pundits think the same. They just don't know how, like, well done, come back, delighted you got your goal and a couple of goals and all of that. But it was a Premier League Player of the Month award. And I think between Vardy or Salah should have gotten it, really. You know, I think in that for the way they've been playing. As it goes through the score results, Leicester City at home, so I can only see a Leicester result or a draw. You know, unless the Leicester turn up, that didn't they lose to Brentford? Was that Brentford that beat them recently, or was it somebody else? I don't know what it was. Unless that and then that Leicester turns up, then you know United could easily get a victory there. But you can't call it in this one. If Rodgers has his team playing right, he normally knows how to play against United as well. He plays well against them with his team. So even when he was at Swansea days, when he was with Liverpool, you know. And as regards you were saying, Solskjaer might get fired. I mean, I'm going to a banterish kind of point of view, no, but how many United managers have we gotten fired after they've played us in the last few seasons?
Yeah, that's what it is.
You know, Mourinho, Moyes got the sack after losing to us. Van Gaal got the sack after losing to us.
So
in that kind of thing.
I just got that in the back of my mind.
Yeah.
So I don't want him to go, obviously, from a Liverpool point of view. Then again, who could they get? I'm sure there's some.
All these managers are going to be holding out for a contract at Newcastle now, man. All the big names.
Newcastle.
Yeah, I think all of these managers are waiting around to say, hang on, what's going to happen at Newcastle over the next couple of seasons? Do I want to be in there over the next couple of seasons and get an?
Stay up there at the moment.
Who?
Antonio Conte.
I don't know. Oh wait, he was moving, so he was supposed to take over at Spurs.
Yeah, so he's free at the minute.
He's free. Yeah, they could be looking at him.
Jeez,
he'd suit them actually.
He would, and like players like Ronaldo, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Conte is a big time Charlie himself, you know.
Yeah.
He'd do very well there, I think. I'd actually be afraid if they got somebody like that in
there.
Keep Solskjaer there, the Liverpool fan.
yeah, the Liverpool fan of me says keep Solskjaer there. I don't know. Yeah, I'm trying to think outside the box now when it comes to like who's going to pay him the contract.
Pay Solskjaer?
Like who's going to pay? Are Newcastle going to pay a big contract immediately to a manager, or are they going to have to go?
But like,
you know.
God only knows.
Yeah, it's probably that's what I'm thinking. That it's probably easier for them to go for your Graham Potters, or the likes of these that would come in at a medium contract maybe, at the start of it, and then if he started getting success, you know, he'd up his contract then, you know. But
it's never a long-term solution anyway.
No.
He's going to come in for a short while, wreck everyone's head for 2 or 3 seasons, win a few trophies, and go back to Italy, you know.
Yeah.
But look, so just as far as Leicester and United go, this. Tomorrow. It's tomorrow, isn't it? They're playing tomorrow as well. I'd fancy either a draw or a Leicester win. And if Solskjaer doesn't get a result against us the week after, I don't know.
I think he's going to be in trouble then. Because I mean, with Manchester United fans and even Leicester fans, they both thought like, oh, we're going to be gunning this season. We're going to be in there, about now with Liverpool and Man City.
Yeah.
We always thought Chelsea were on their way back. All right,
Mm.
a bit over the last couple of seasons, but like you know, especially United fans that I know or I spoke to, they were just convinced that they were going to go on and win the league this season. Like they've completely convinced themselves they're going to go on and win the league, and it was just like they're not ready. They haven't got a good enough midfield. You know, and the
No.
defense is still not good enough, no matter who they brought in. Varane is after coming in now and they've steadied the ship, but they're still leaking goals. They're still the same old mistakes, and that has to be
Mm.
down to how Solskjaer is playing. Because
Well,
at the
to
end of the
me, it's
day, he's a
obvious.
striker.
Like
Yeah, yeah,
he is like he's. I'm not saying he's a bad manager,
yeah.
but when you've likes of Klopp and
Mm,
Guardiola and Thomas Tuchel in the clubs that are around you,
mm,
you'd want a better manager
yeah,
than Solskjaer, particularly for a club like United. Do you know,
yeah,
he's
yeah,
not a Man United manager,
mm,
as great and all as he was at the club.
yeah,
You need someone better. You need someone better. It's as simple as that.
yeah. Yeah, it's just you could see that his attacking play is somewhat polished in how they
Mm.
play because they do counter attack well, they attack well when they do
Yeah,
play.
they're
But it's
great.
the defense. He's never worked on that defense. He's never
Yeah.
created that defensive unit. Um, but they did look solid at the start of the season. I give them that, and coming up to the end of last season. But they're still,
They still get top four.
yeah,
I
yeah,
think they'll
oh
still
yeah,
get
yeah,
top four, no problem. But they won't win the league. And
yeah.
like a club like United, they have to be trying to win the league.
I think it's
Like
fourth. I think it's fourth for them. I think
fourth, but not over it.
it's between City, Liverpool, and Chelsea for that top
Hmm.
spot, and any one of them could bounce between the top three. The as thing goes, the Liverpool because we didn't buy many people in the summer, like that's nothing got to do with us. It's the philosophy of how Klopp plays, and you have to realize as well, Klopp only really buys big when it's absolutely necessary. So it
Mm.
was absolutely necessary. We needed a top goalkeeper that time, and we got Allison in. It was absolutely necessary that we needed the defender, so we got Van Dijk in, and then he went out and he said, right, I'm going to create a good spine throughout this team, and no matter who plays alongside Van Dijk, they turn into worldies themselves,
They do. They
they
do.
do. So that's the way it worked. And then Fabinho was stuck in there, so he's our anchor point right in there, sweeping across that midfield and protecting it and protecting the front of the back four. And even Hendo comes back and does that job. He goes back and he helps on the right hand side with Trent, and the same with Fab going back to help and Robbo out with Sal. And Salah's been doing an awful lot of that donkey work lately. He's been working tirelessly this season, tracking back himself.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
but that's what you're kind of looking at. Yeah, I'm kind of going into a tangent here. I want to talk about Liverpool, but also with the same with City. But City don't have strikers, and that's my
no,
worry
no. Like
about
to
City
be
for the
honest with
league.
you, I think we have the best 11 in the league.
Yeah,
It's just the squad I'm worried about.
yeah, yeah,
City's squad is
ridiculous.
amazing,
Yeah,
like absolutely amazing, and so is Chelsea's as well. So
but
I
is
think it's the
is is
squad will be
Gar-
the only thing that leave us down.
is Gabriel Jesus a 30 or 40 goal striker a season? Because that's what they need.
No, no,
You know,
no, and
I
he's a blind spot as far as
yeah,
I'm concerned. He's a handy
mm,
player, but like he's not going to get you those. Like he's obviously not Aguero. You know, you
yeah,
need somebody of that caliber.
yeah,
But think about it. Like City have more money. Well, I was going to say more money than anybody else.
yeah,
Except
yeah.
probably Newcastle now at the
Newcastle, no,
moment.
yeah, yeah,
But there's
but
there's no there's no reason why they shouldn't have had a striker. None whatsoever.
yeah. Unless you just thought that he could go, like, I mean, because we don't play with an out and out striker either, but we've been like, but Klopp has always kind of been that way. He's always played with like a false nine type thing, and his wingers would score the goals. He had it with Aubameyang in the Bundesliga. He started that way with Mainz as well. So he
Hmm.
always plays with this kind of. He's like the kind of guy that you could nearly claim that invents the false nine, if in kind of way, if
Yeah,
in a
yeah,
way he is
yeah.
plays. So he knows that his wingers are the goal scorers. And they're not
Hmm.
strikers, but they're wingers. So he's never,
Yeah,
I can't remember the last time he plays an out-and-out striker. Maybe if he needs a goal, he'll bang on Divock Origi. But with the way Ivan Toney's been touting himself around the place, and he's a massive Liverpool fan, I wouldn't be surprised if we did, because we're going to have to shift Origi on. But if you want to change him for that kind of caliber of striker, then you would go with somebody who's tall and large and can actually play with the ball at his feet and hold up the play. That's if Klopp wants to switch it up a small bit. But outside that, yeah, there's there's
yeah.
there's there's a shout for maybe us playing with a striker in the future, but it has to be somebody who works within the confines of that kind of false nine striker role as well, and works as hard as Bobby but more prolific. Jota's in there; he's doing a good job. So yeah,
Jota's
but
brilliant.
for the rest of the lads, you're looking at Chelsea now. We've got Lukaku. So he's been banging them in already up front. Werner, he was touted to be the next best thing in the league, and he just hasn't shown up for Chelsea yet. Maybe he will eventually, but he really hasn't. And I think we kind of, got away with one there in that hindsight, because he wouldn't have played like Bobby played, if you get me. He's more of a winger style, coming in off the left type player.
Maybe if he played under Klopp, he could have made the
It
most of
could
it.
have,
No, we
yeah.
don't know.
It's kind of, yeah, but I just I don't I still have that little worry in me. I don't know why, but it kind of creeped into me here now as I was thinking about it. But that little worry where you'd be worried about the player coming in, but then you just realize, hang on, we've got Jurgen Klopp as manager. He can
Yeah,
turn
that's
anybody
the thing.
around, and
Exactly. And
that
that's
just
there's
crept
no
into me.
big time.
I
Big
I
thought.
haven't had that thought there as I was thinking about that for 6 or 7 years, in that kind of way. So 6 or 7 seasons or whatever it is, and I'm just kind of thinking, yeah, just like this dude could pretty much do anything with a player that you bring him in with. He'll get the best out of him, and if that player can't give his ultimate best, like if he's reached his peak under Klopp, then Klopp will just kind of say, look, it's still not good enough. So we'll just
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
move on. But anyway, so you think it's a draw between
So we're
Leicester and
saying,
Man? Yeah,
yeah.
it's a draw
I
between
think, yeah,
Leicester and United. I think so as well.
we spent more time
Um,
talking about Liverpool here than Leicester United.
yeah,
Yeah,
um,
I think Leicester will win
yeah.
or it will be a draw.
Okay,
And
so
I'm not even sure what I'm hoping for on that one from a Liverpool point of view. Maybe a draw
the
would be the
draw would
best.
be the best, maybe. If United were to kind of go on and have a better second half to the season, and drive on that way, if they brought in people, I would kind of rather Leicester win it, because there's always
Okay.
bad results. They're kind of like Spurs in a way. There's always a bad result in them every so often. So every 3 or 4, they could go like on a 5 game winning run, be brilliant, and then all of a sudden, they'll just lose to
Yeah.
Norwich or something. You know what I mean, or something like that. Like, that's just the way they kind of play. So if I was to take the points off anywhere, I would take the points off of who I think is going to be in the top 4. And that would be, I would go for Leicester on that one if I wanted them to win. And Man City and Burnley, there's not even really much fight, because I mean Burnley have a terrible record against City. Really, I think the last few times it's like 4-0, 5-0 to City, and Burnley are a good side on their dice. They're a hardy side, but for some reason, Dyche's players can't kick the shit out of City, but they can kick the shit out of everybody else's legs. I don't understand it. So yeah,
It should be 3 points for City unless something goes wrong.
yeah, yeah.
Again, like ourselves, they can't be dropping points to teams like that,
Mm.
and I would actually be shocked if they did.
Yeah, yeah. That's pretty much simple, straightforward. What we're going to say, because we've been talking about Pep as we're going along as well, and the likes of what they're doing. The kind of City the kind of season that City could have is, I mean, they can easily win. We can't turn around and write them off just because they're missing a striker. I mean, they can get results, and the
They're
midfield
brilliant.
can score.
They're brilliant.
Foden seems to be in the new shining light for them, kind of coming out to the
He played
point
so
where,
well against us as
yeah,
well.
yeah,
He's
and
brilliant.
I think, but they are kind of like a De Bruyne injury away from. Okay,
Yeah,
no, Foden has to not go so far attacking. He needs to kind of stay back a bit, but because he's eye for a pass is getting better and better. Because
yeah.
I saw him there against Andorra and stuff like that. And he's been playing beautiful football, and people were trying to get the ball to him as much as they could because of the true passes that he was making. So his passing game is
Is he only like 20 or something?
something
Is he?
like that. Yeah, he's younger than
Yeah.
Trent anyway. I know that.
He's
By a couple of
amazingly
years.
good. Like
Yeah,
amazingly
but
good.
and he's a City fan through and through. So, I can't see how any other club is going to prize him away.
Yeah,
Without him
absolutely. Well,
screaming to leave, if you know. So,
they won't be short the money,
nah, nah. So he'll be up to his contract anyway. But yeah, he's the kind of sign for them. Diaz and Laporte have been playing well together as well in the
Yeah.
defense this season. Um, they they're they're probably two of the best defenders in the league at the moment, with Van Dijk
Oh,
and
no, they're not.
Diaz, and then Laporte probably just under that. So I would say Maguire at United hasn't done enough for me to say that he's winning them games. You
He's too
know,
slow.
it's too slow. So he's there on that second tier. If you had a god tier level of defenders, he's there on
Exactly.
that second tier. You have to say that. So, but along with Laporte and all of that kind of thing. But then I think Laporte is better than him as well. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah, there's
I was only looking at a thing there about that we paid I think it was 3.5 million for Joe Gomez, and they
Yeah,
paid 8 million for like there's and even Gomez, and he's so
yeah,
young, but he's so
yeah,
quick and he's
yeah,
so good. And he knows Van Dijk next to him, but you can see him being his own player as
yeah,
well. You know,
yeah,
he's
yeah.
brilliant.
When
Um,
Gomez doesn't get injuries. That's the thing. He's not an injured player. What happens to him is he gets hurt. So
mm.
in the difference in that, he's been fouled a couple of times. That led to broken bones, and I think it was a Sterling took him out in the England team.
Oh yeah,
And that's what made him have the last injury or something like that with the
right.
knee. So that was why he was on a long term injury. So he was never been one like where he's running along the pitch and he suddenly gets, he's fucking, what do they call him? What do they call Sturridge when they were there?
Oh,
What's it
like a
called?
player that pulls up because he's quick or whatever those
Yeah,
sort of
no,
injuries
no,
might throw
the
him.
what sick note. That's what they call
Yeah,
him.
sick
You
note.
know,
I think
so
like
even though he's had
gangrena. Yeah.
even though he's had big injuries and stuff like that, yeah, it's because he's been hurt. It's not because
Yeah.
he's picked up an injury or something like that, But they're back to City and what do you think about Sean Dyche? Do you think he's going to take Burnley any further, or because I was talking about him getting kind of looked at as well?
He's a really good manager at
Yeah.
what he does, I suppose. But it's a certain type of football.
Mm.
It works at a certain type of club. I don't think. Look, to be honest, it's just kind of a Big Sam sort of a thing, isn't
Yeah.
it? You just, you do what you do. You
Yeah.
get on with it.
Tony
You
Pulis,
get on.
Big Sam,
Yeah,
they're all the same bracket, the kind of manager.
just one of those. He'd probably make a good Republic of Ireland manager.
Yeah, yeah, maybe.
But back in the day, but yeah, look, he's just one of those guys. He's going to do well. He'll never reach over a certain level, but he'll never be out of work. He'll never
Yeah,
be out of work.
yeah,
There'll always be a club looking for someone like him. A very good manager, but not a top class manager, I suppose.
yeah, yeah. So, all right, we move on to the evening kickoff. Brentford versus
That's
Chelsea.
Chelsea, isn't it?
Yeah, Brentford versus Chelsea as well.
So Brentford having a really good season, obviously, but again, look, I'll say the same thing about Chelsea. They have to. They can't lose this one, obviously. Maybe a draw just because of the way Brentford are at the
Yeah,
minute. But you'd have to be aiming for the 3 points.
yeah. I mean, if Chelsea are as ruthless as they've been throughout the season, you can see them getting the points. I mean, Tuchel has upped their level
Mm.
significantly. Obviously, winning the Champions League, which I find was a bit of they did it well for the team
Mm.
that they beat, because I expect the City to, with the teams that were left, I expect the City to win it out of all of them, if they were going to win it. But I don't know what it is. It almost felt like it was a numb win. I
Mm.
don't know what it didn't feel like it was as big a spectacle as the previous seasons where it was one.
Yeah, yeah,
I think they did a good job in beating City in the game, but I suppose I'm just giving out about the game really because there wasn't much action to it. There was back and forth and a lot of defensive stuff, but not a lot of goal mode action stuff. Probably, just
Like
as
I
critical as
remember,
Liverpool
I
Spurs,
remember
because that was
watching
a
it, and I just
terrible
remember
final.
being disappointed in City. To be honest with you,
Yeah, yeah, that's exactly what I
disappointed in
thought.
Pep.
Yeah.
Disappointed in Pep. Sometimes European games,
Mm,
I don't know, as he tried to be too smart or
yeah,
overthink something or whatever. But I thought it was City's. I thought
yeah,
I thought they were going to win,
yeah. Thought
and
they were going to turn up, but they battled it pretty
mm,
much. So,
yeah,
but
and it's hard to get to a Champions League final. It's hard. There's
it
no
is, yeah,
guarantees with the Champions League. So there was if Pep won it, I wouldn't be surprised if he danced off into the sunset after that one as well.
yeah, and said yeah.
I think he needs. I know it's kind of difficult saying that somebody needs a Champions League trophy, but Jesus, he does need one.
Did he
Considering the
get one
amount of
with
money.
Bayern? Did he? He got one with Barca, didn't he?
No,
But he didn't
no,
get
no.
one with Bayern.
It was two with the Barca. So to me, Pep is one of the greatest managers ever. But there's
Yeah,
always, unless he wins another one, and obviously he spends
yeah,
money and stuff, they're always going to say that was Messi that won the
yeah.
Champions League.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah.
Couldn't have done it without
So
him. And you know what? There's a strong argument to say that if you didn't have Messi in your team, maybe you mightn't
yeah,
do it. Even though that Barcelona team were absolutely amazing as well. There was other good teams around at the time too.
yeah,
Like that Man United team that they beat were brilliant
yeah,
around 2010 or whenever it was. They were a
yeah.
fine team, an absolutely brilliant team, and and Messi probably was
Schooled
the
them.
difference.
Yeah, I seen that was
Mm,
ridiculous in
mm.
that final. It was a 3-0, wasn't it? Was it 3
So two did Scholes get a goal in one of those games?
3-1? Was
Messi
it?
got a header anyway in the first
Yeah,
one, didn't he? Messi got a header.
I
I
think
do
it was
remember that.
3-1 or something like that. Yeah, I think
Was
they
that the one at
yeah,
Wembley? Is it?
yeah. I think that was
Yeah.
the 3-0 one. But
Like
yeah,
only for that Barcelona team and only for Messi, Alex Ferguson probably would have had 3 Champions Leagues in
yeah,
his back pocket easily.
yeah.
Thank
So
God he doesn't.
yeah, yeah. For our second, yeah. But in saying that, do you think Chelsea are there yet for the league?
No, I don't.
I don't
I
either.
don't at all. And what I will say now, they might be next year. And
Yeah.
look, they could bloody win it. I don't know. But for some reason, I just do not think they're there. I think it is, and depending on injuries for Liverpool, but I think it's between City and Liverpool.
Yeah.
And whoever finishes above one of those teams
Yeah.
will win the league.
And
I think
deserve it.
Chelsea are, yeah, I think Chelsea are cemented for third, but I think they will progress again. I think the only reason Chelsea win the league is if Liverpool or City
City.
leave themselves
Like, if
out.
Liverpool had a season like they did last season, where they were missing half the
Which
players,
hopefully
and
never happens
that
again.
that destroyed our season. Like, but still,
Yeah,
not the
yeah.
fact that we got third last season out of that season just goes to show
Yeah.
what kind of mindset Klopp has instilled in that team.
Yeah,
So
and
that's
there's great characters in
yeah,
that team. That's the thing,
yeah.
like, that's the
So
thing that got us over the line.
yeah, I'm trying to stay away from Luke because I keep going back
Why
to
not?
similarities between us and them because we are Liverpool fans, so we're always going to compare.
But yeah, look,
But
to be honest, yeah, I think Chelsea will be there. I think they're cemented for third, but I don't think they're going to win the league.
yeah, I don't think so either.
City and Liverpool.
I don't think the defense is good enough yet.
No.
I
think look and look, that's fine. Tuchel's only in the door as well. I know they're almost a ready-made team, but you still have to take on Liverpool and City, so they just need a bit more. But
in saying that, like we
reason
did
won't
10 men and we never broke them down, but we didn't turn up. I don't think fully in that game. We never went up above that second gear in that game, and I could never understand why. It was a disappointment for us more
And
than
that's the thing that would worry me about Liverpool this year. When you say that about Chelsea being down to 10 men, we didn't get to 3 points, and we couldn't do the job against City either. So again, we could be as confident as we want. You still have to look at those games as well, though.
But we don't lose those games, and that's one thing that I want to make sure that we don't do. But anyway, we're going into the next one. So Agent Rafa and Everton, and Moyes in West Ham. Moyes in West Ham.
Jesus, that's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
That is an interesting game. Well, for some reason, I'm thinking draw. Who's at home?
Everton are at home.
Okay.
But West Ham were on fire since last season, really. They've been playing well.
Well, look, like Everton are right up there, aren't they? Like, where are they? Yeah, Everton are 14 points, level with City. I have Everton friends that are still giving out about Rafa. I find myself being in a weird position as a Liverpool fan that I'm nearly cheering for Everton these days just because Rafa's there and just so he can prove these people wrong.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've a couple of Everton friends and they're disgusted that he's there. So he could win the league with them and they'd still give out about it.
Yeah. Bitter bastards. That's the thing. I can be as clear as they, but they are like as Liverpool fans. That's my Liverpool fan side of me thinking they're just never happy if it's anything to do with Liverpool that get somewhere they are. So
it's crazy.
Yeah.
I have a friend there, Cornelius. He's from Mallow.
Yeah.
You know him, right, Connery? And he's a mad Everton fan. And he's mad giving out about Rafa still to this day. Which I find amazing. Like, I think Rafa is such a good fit for that club. Other than the fact that they're the other club in Merseyside, but in terms of the team that they have, like much better than Ancelotti. Ancelotti's a fine manager, but he's a champagne Charlie manager. He wants to be at the big clubs. He wants to be spending money. He wants to be doing the big things. Whereas Rafa can go to any club and make that team better, regardless of the players that are there. He'll make them into a unit. He'll have them doing the right things. Like he got rid of what's his name, Rodriguez or whoever. That you know what I mean?
Get out the door,
he's no time for fellas like that. Whereas Ancelotti will entertain someone like that. Rafa will just create a good, solid team, and he's doing it already. You can see what he's doing already. They're going to do well. They're going to be up there. Like
I obviously don't feel sorry for Everton fans because they're the other people we have to problem with. The club as itself as a whole, I feel sorry for the club with the way kind of Ancelotti was just in the door and it was just like, nah, this isn't for me. You're not kind of at the level that I'm expecting,
though, isn't it?
Yeah, and then Rodriguez also, I mean, he's in the Premier League and he's deciding that he doesn't want to be at Everton to go to some place that's so foreign that's not going to do anything for him. I just
know about him. Like,
money. He's just there for the money and that's it. Let's get through the money. I'm at a stage in my career where I'm not going to break any more records doing anything. So let's just get the money and get out kind of job. So
he'd won a good World Cup and that was the end of him after that.
Yeah, I don't even think he played well enough. He just got a couple of good goals and it made him look good.
He got a couple of goals after that. Yeah.
So
look, I think for me, I think that has draw written all over it.
Yeah, I know we're going for it. There's going to be this weekend. There's a lot of games that looks like they're going to be draws because of the caliber of opponents. They're very similar teams. And I think draw as well between West Ham and everything because West Ham are flying it. Moyes has them playing well.
For it, obviously going back to Goodson Park. He probably get a bit of stick as well. But yeah, I think it's going to be a draw. I
But
think
look
it's
how
gonna be a draw.
miserable West Ham fans were 2 seasons ago, 3 seasons ago, something like that. They were just
Yeah,
outside the new stadium. They were just screaming, saying, "This is shit. This is, They were just giving out all the time, and they're just like, we just have no passion in the team, whatever." And that team is kind of turned around. It's up there now above a mid-table team. I mean, for me, they're a better side than Arsenal were for the last couple of seasons. They've been there just on par in that kind of way.
yeah,
So Everton are kind of on the par of Spurs. So any of them can beat each other in kind of when it comes head to head. But yeah, I mean that is draw written all over because it's at Goodison. If it was away from Goodison, I was saying that Everton away at a tough stadium like West Ham and their supporters being up for it, I would have gone for West Ham. But because it's at
yeah,
Goodison, I would say it's a draw. Right,
yeah.
Newcastle
And Spurs, isn't
and
it?
Spurs.
Yep, it's
Yeah,
Spurs.
yeah,
There's something about Spurs. They always seem to be around at historic moments that have
yeah.
got nothing to
Nothing to
do
do
with
with
them.
them.
It's
yeah,
so strange.
yeah. Jesus.
But yeah, obviously, Jesus, look. And who is it Newcastle are home for that? Or is it
Newcastle at home, man. So that crowd is
was
going to
that
be
James Park
banging.
since the big news?
Yeah,
It's like that's going to be a very interesting game. I think. No, obviously Spurs could win it
yeah,
because Newcastle aren't great and Steve Bruce is still the manager.
yeah.
But I think just the lift around
Alone.
St James's Park with
Yeah.
everything that's going on, and look, the Geordies are like proper fans. You know,
Put
like
like
proper fans.
16 Duracell
Real
batteries
joy.
into Maxima, is it?
Oh,
San
the place will
Maxima.
explode.
What's
Yeah,
the thing?
it will
Yeah,
explode.
yeah,
Yeah. Look, it it wouldn't be a game that I'd usually be looking forward to, but I
yeah,
probably will just have a look of it, just considering everything that's going on at the
yeah,
moment.
yeah,
God only knows who's going to win.
yeah,
Let's give it to Newcastle just because the place is going to be rocking, or maybe a draw. Who knows?
yeah.
One is as bad as the other at the moment. Spurs could do anything; like they could play brilliantly, or they
Yeah.
could be absolutely shocking. But just for the news, I'll fancy Newcastle to just nick it, and yeah,
What was the last result for Spurs? Was that the game they lost against Arsenal, or was that the previous one?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure now.
I'm trying to see what kind of form they're in at the moment. I need to look that one up. But I was just because
Uh,
Spurs are always a Spurs. They just kind of they wow for about same with the Leicester 5 or 6 games, and then they just disappear for 2 or 3.
yeah. No, insane. Like when you think about it with your head on, if you forget about the news with
Yeah,
Newcastle, like Newcastle have been shocking this year.
yeah,
Steve Bruce probably going to be fired the week
yeah.
after. I don't know. There's just maybe it's my heart thinking pull a performance out just with everything that's going on,
Yeah,
and maybe they'd want to play a good game for Steve Bruce or something.
yeah,
But if you're thinking with your head on, Spurs would probably get the 3 points, but
yeah,
who knows? You know,
yeah, yeah,
who knows? It's just one of those games. I'll probably only have a look at it because of
yeah,
because of them being bought over by the Saudis. What the chat is going to be around that, you know.
yeah. So yeah, like if I'm going, my head is the Spurs win all day.
Mm,
But
mm.
if you're going by the heart results, then Newcastle could pull something out of the bag.
I don't know
As
why.
I
I
said
just
to you
don't
earlier,
imagine. I just fancy something to happen.
as I said to you earlier, just 16 Duracell batteries into San Maximin and just let them run.
But
And
then there's all this talk. There's all this talk from like Gary Neville and pundits
yeah,
like that going, Steve Bruce deserves a shot at this job. He
uh,
doesn't deserve
nah,
a job at all.
nah,
He's a shocking manager.
yeah,
He doesn't. It's sooner to get rid of him the better, to be honest with
yeah,
you. And I like Steve Bruce as a person, and obviously he was a
yeah,
great player and stuff like that. But he's just one of those managers, isn't he? He'll
yeah,
never be out of work. He'll never go beyond a certain point. So I think the sooner Newcastle can get somebody in, the better for them. But you know what? The way football is, they might get the result.
yeah. All right. So the last one of the weekend, as well as Monday, is Arsenal Crystal Palace. So Vieira is going home.
And it's at the Emirates, is it?
Yeah. Palace, we pretty much demolished Palace,
Yeah,
but they played well in that game.
they did.
They did play well in that game,
They've won
but
a few games this season,
yeah,
haven't they?
and they beat Spurs, didn't they?
They did. They
Yeah.
did actually, yeah.
So
I think this one will be close.
mm,
Uh,
Arsenal are at home though.
could be a draw, but I'd fancy Arsenal to get
Yeah,
the win.
I
But it
think
will
they
be
do.
close. A 2-1 or something like that. You know?
Arsenal are in a good vein of form at the moment with the way they're playing.
Yeah, for them anyway.
So yeah, I'd say Arsenal as well. Maybe a 3-1.
Mm.
If it is tight and it's only 1-0 to Arsenal coming up near the end, I fancy Crystal Palace to nick a goal, make it 1-1 because Arsenal will get nervy. So
They
it'll
will,
be
and that's the thing. They will
uh,
get nervy. They will get
yeah.
nervy if there's a
So
goal scored.
I think Arsenal for now at maybe like a 3-1 or something like that. And Crystal Palace to nick a draw if it's still 1-0. You know, to Arsenal or
Yeah,
something coming up to like the 70 odd minute or
yeah,
something like
yeah.
that.
Yeah,
So yeah,
nice set piece or something like that. Yeah, no, you never know. You never know. Yeah, I'd fancy Arsenal, but yeah, again, could be a draw, I
so yeah,
suppose.
so we're looking at the so where am I going? We're here. So we're looking at the league table now at the moment. We moved that up here all the way. So yeah, so far I'm liking the fact. Well, obviously City haven't lost in the last 5 either. And they've won 4 of the games, but they have a loss under their belt. We're still the only unbeaten side in the league, which is
Yeah.
it's good going for us. The last time we said that, the Watford were the only team to take it off of us, but that was in like February or something like that just before the lockdown, I think it was, when all of that was starting to kick in. I think it was Watford and then Bournemouth or something was the results after that, but before the lockdown kicked in. And yeah, so Chelsea are currently on top. They have a tough away game against Brentford.
Mm.
Like they're playing so well at the moment. You know, they will attack Chelsea. Like they won't just sit back and do what they're doing. If they sit back, Chelsea will take them apart. Because Brentford, if they start playing the defensive game in the Premier League, that's when teams start to have their downfall. You know, it happened with Fulham, all of that, where they started playing well at the start of the season, then all of a sudden they started going defensive against teams that they were scared of, and then all of a sudden they were doing after the rest of the season, they couldn't get back to where they were. So they're just better off playing the game that they're playing and hoping for the best and see what
Yep.
they can pull out of it. They did it against Arsenal, they beat them. They did it against us, they got a great draw. You know, they've beaten other sides, they've beaten Wolves, haven't they? And they've beaten other sides like that. So they're better off playing the game that
That
they're
was some
playing.
game against us as well.
Yeah,
Jesus Christ.
fantastic.
Wow.
They
But
played
yeah,
well.
look, yeah, they've nothing to lose. They've nothing to
No,
lose.
so they have to go out. They have to go all out against the likes of Chelsea and all that, because they'll get lots of results against the lower sides, and I think they'll be perfectly safe at the end of the season with the way they're playing. I can't, you know, there could be a good 8 points to 11 points above the drop anyway. I think in that way, you know, they'll get enough results out of it. But for me, you know, there's your top 5 right there. You got Chelsea, Liverpool, City, United, and Everton. So in those ones, Everton are hosting West Ham. United are away to Leicester. The, you could say the easiest games for the two clubs that are in there at the moment is City and Liverpool, with Burnley and Watford,
Mm.
and then Chelsea do have a tough game away at, you know, a rampant Brentford at the moment, because they're non-stop, you know, in how they play.
Yeah.
He's got them playing very well, and old Frank, and yeah. So I mean, I don't know what else we could say about the rest of the league. In comparison to that, everybody's just kind of floating around the centre that hasn't really done much this season. From where we're playing catch up, but the
Mm.
surprise package from me so far has definitely been Brentford. I mean, if there was going to be a team of the month, it would be them for the results that they got in
Absolutely.
September, you know, and August as the start of the season. But yeah, I think we're going to just kind of leave it there, I'd say, and we can finish off and come back and do one again on Monday or something, for see how the results go, and maybe get some others involved in it, come on for a chat and how the team played over the weekend is the best bet to do that.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, I mean, we
I
just
know we're a bit behind.
we are a bit behind. We're a bit behind on the setup,
A
but I
bit
mean,
behind because of the whole COVID situation, but I'll be better in next week, and we'll
we'll
be
be
up and
better.
running then properly.
We will, yeah. We're good to go. I know, like so, which is good. But so we'll be doing sketches and stuff like that coming up, lads. But mainly these kind of little podcast shows. I'll be going over to where Kev is, and we have a small little studio set up there, and we'll be able to do it here. And some
Setting it up. We're setting it.
setting
We're
it
in the
setting it up.
process.
And if it's not, you know, I can always do the 2 chairs here, and we can kind of do it this way for a couple of watch alongs. But we're going to be doing the watch along in the morning at 12:30 for
Yeah.
Watford Liverpool. To see how we get along, see how we get on away at Watford, because the last result there wasn't too good, so we need to prove a point in that as well. As long as we can keep Sarr quiet, I think we're good to go. I don't need to offer much of anything else outside him, really. Who we were touted with for a while as well, and who I can't see
Mm.
being at Watford much longer past the season.
No.
I think, you know, even if Watford do go down or back or straight back down, he won't be going back down with him. I think he's staying around now this time. So yeah, so we have it there. That's the end of the preview show. Be sure to like and subscribe, and
Oh, yeah, you
stay
have to
around
say
here
that,
for
don't you?
yeah, you got to say that, way. To make sure people stick around and you get and hit that bell notification as well, so that when we do pop on and we do go live, that's the only way you're going to see that one. Because otherwise, if you don't know how that bell works, you press like, that's great. The videos are liked, it'll just show up on a list when people want to watch it. But if you want to see when we're popping on and you want to catch us and you're just like, oh, I forgot about that, and bang, it pops up on your computer or your email or your phone, just hit that bell notification, and then that's where how we appear right in your faces. Right. So, yeah, we were very serious still today, Kev, in our chit
We
chats,
were,
weren't
yeah,
we?
yeah,
Yeah, we're taking this
this was just a
football thing
test run, but
serious.
sure, look, we were only supposed to talk for 10 minutes, like.
Yeah, no. How long we gone on for? How long was this
Oh,
gone on for?
Jesus Christ. I don't know, fucking 50 minutes, I'd say, now at this point.
Jesus, we're decent. Right. Right, lads. So yeah, we are the Kitmen. You're going to see us. Oh, if anybody else wants to get involved from other clubs and stuff like that are Irish supporters and want to pop in, obviously you can be English supporters, obviously, because we're supporting English clubs. But you know, most of the stuff that we're going to be doing going forward is going to be a lot of comedy, a lot of football and other sport related activities as well. So we'll be catching up on UFC stuff. We're doing with UFC watch alongs. We'll be doing, um, you know, a lot of boxing stuff,
Boxing.
a lot of stuff like that. I probably won't be darts. They're probably.
No.
I'm not a dart. Are you a dart fan? No, I'm not really a dart fan.
But like, do you know what? No, I can't. I'm not
I'm
enough.
kind
I
of the
used
guy
to
that just
be
kind of
back in
turns on
the
the
day.
telly, turns up the telly when I hear and I just do that in the room for
Yeah,
like
I
three
love
seconds,
that.
and then I just change the channel afterwards. Yeah, so, so that's kind of the way it goes for me. It won't be American football. Lads, I'm not an American football fan. If anybody asks me about American football, I would just laugh in your faces. Because it's 4 hours of bravado of giant men wearing shell suits, and then the
Yeah.
ball only stay. Would you believe this, Kev? The ball only stays in play in American football for 11 minutes out of those 4 hours. Do you not know that?
Probably because it's all singing
Yeah,
commercials, isn't it?
it's a lot of chest bumps and people talking on the sideline, a lot of finger pointing for about 25 minutes. But 11 minutes of total out of those 4 hours does the ball stay in the field of play and is actually in play. 11 minutes. And these people get paid millions. I never get it. That's my American football rant. I never get it. And so that's the end of the Kitman Premier League preview show for this week. I am also Kevin, and
Evan also.
all right, so lads, thanks very much for tuning in. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, please. Right, make sure you hit that. Otherwise, you don't get to see us. And we will talk to you guys again on Monday, I'd say. What do you think, Kev? On Monday? Tuesday?
Yeah, do the watch along tomorrow.
Oh
Anyway,
yeah, watch along tomorrow. Yeah, we got that already. But yeah, we got that coming already. But yeah, watch along. We'll see you again for this kind of Premier League post preview show, or maybe preview show. I don't know what you want to call it. But we'll see you anyway, and then all right. So we're out. See you later, guys.
peace out.